What's up? Happy off day stream day, huh? I don't have any music going. We're gonna toy with the volume levels for this live stream, hopefully this time. Agent tools. Oh, they already announced it? Hold on. That was just agent tools for developers. Interesting. Okay. Okay, let me know how the volume is. Hold on. I have a different let's try this out here. Yeah, I think that's good. Let me know if that's too loud or anything. But yes, happy Tuesday. Off day streaming. Oh, wait, what happened here? Did I do that? You can't hear it? Give it a second. See if it comes. There's just like very silent background. If not, let me know. Let me see. I can check. Should be coming through. It's very subtle background music. Yeah, if you still can't hear it, let me know. I will flip it over to the other one. I think that should work though.
First, to build reliable and useful agents.
Maybe this then.
Now, when we say agent, we mean a system that can act independently to do tasks on your behalf. And we've launched 2 agents this year in ChatGPT. The first is Operator, which can browse the web and do things for you on the web. The second is Deep Research, which can create detailed reports for you on any topic you want. So you give it a topic, and it can go off and do what might be a week's worth of research for you and come back with an answer in 15 minutes. The feedback for those has been fantastic. But we want to now launch those tools and more in the API to developers. So we've spent the last couple months going around talking to developers all over the world about how we can make it easy for them to build agents. And what we've heard is that the models are ready. So with advanced reasoning, with multimodal understanding, our models can now do the kind of complex multi-step workflows that agents need. But on the other hand, developers feel like they're having to cobble together different low-level APIs from different sources. It's difficult, it's slow, it often feels brittle. So today we're really excited to bring that together into a series of tools and a new API and an open source SDK to make this a lot easier. So with that, let me introduce the team.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ilan. I'm an engineer on the developer experience team.
I'm Steve. I'm an engineer on the API team.
And I'm Nikunj. I work on the API product team. So let's dive into all the stuff that we are launching today. Like Kevin mentioned, we have 3 new built-in tools. We have a new API and an open source SDK. Starting off with the built-in tools, the first tool that we're announcing today is called the Web Search tool. The Web Search tool allows our models to access information from the internet so that your responses and the output that you get is up to date and factual. The Web Search tool is the same tool that powers ChatGPT Search, and it's powered by a fine-tuned model under the hood. So this is a fine-tuned GPT-4o or 4o mini that is really good at looking at large amounts of data retrieved from the web, finding the relevant pieces of information, and then clearly citing it in its response. In a benchmark,
citing in the response is interesting.
These type of things, which is called simple QA, you can see that GPT-4o hits a high score of state-of-the-art score of 90%. So that's the first tool. Steve, do you want to tell us about the second one?
Yeah, the second tool is actually my
Okay.
favorite tool, and this is the file search tool.
Oh.
Now, we launched the file search tool last year in the Assistance API as a way for developers to upload, chunk, embed their documents, and then RAG really easily over those documents. Now, we're really excited to be launching 2 new features in the file search tool today. The first is metadata filtering. So with metadata filtering, you can add attributes to your files to be able to easily filter them down to just the ones that are the most relevant for your query. The second is a direct search endpoint. So now you can directly search your vector stores without your queries being filtered through the model first.
Okay, that's cool.
Nice. So you have web search for the public data, file search for the private data that you have. And then the third tool that we are launching is the computer use
Oh.
tool. The computer use tool is operator in the API, but it allows you to control the computers that you are operating. So
Okay.
It could be a virtual machine. It could be a legacy application that just has a
About
graphical
time.
user interface and you have no API access to it. If you want to automate those kind of tasks and build applications on that, you can use the computer use tool, which comes with the computer use model.
Oh, there's a model for it.
That is used by Operator in ChatGPT. It has SOTA benchmarks on OS World, Web Arena, Web Voyager. Early user feedback on the Kua model and the tool has been super, super positive, so I'm really excited to see what all of you build.
We're going to have to try this on the TMS for sure.
Those are the 3 tools. And while we were building these tools and thinking of getting them out, we also wanted to take a first principles approach at designing the best API for these tools.
Okay.
We released chat completions, I think, in March 2023 alongside GPT 3.5 Turbo, and every single API interaction at that time was just text in and text out.
This will be interesting.
We've introduced multimodalities.
Everybody follows OpenAI, basically.
We're introducing tools today, and you also have
From this
products
side.
like O1 Pro, Deep Research, Operator that make these multiple model turns and multiple tool calls behind the scenes. So we wanted to build an API primitive that is flexible enough. It supports multiple turns, it supports tools, and we're calling this new API the Responses API. And to show you the Responses API, I'm going to hand it over to Steve.
Cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Responses API. So if you've used chat completions before, this will look really familiar to you. You select some context, you pick a model, and you get a response.
Yeah, we could totally integrate it. Well, most likely.
And it's always hilarious. So,
Right, tell me a joke.
I don't know.
So to demonstrate the power of the Responses API, we're going to be building sort of a personal stylist assistant. So let's start off by giving it some instructions.
Okay. So, okay.
You're only typing in front of like 50,000 people right now. Don't worry about it.
Cool. And we'll say, we'll get rid of this, and we'll say...
No AI complete? That's crazy, right? Come on.
Latest trends.
The joke's in the context.
The joke is in the context. Let's see what it says. Okay, cool. Great. But no personal stylist assistant is complete unless it understands what its users like. So in order to demonstrate this, we've created a vector store that has some, like some entries, almost some diary entries of what people on the team have been wearing.
That's not weird at all.
It's not weird at all. I would just let it happen. We've kind of been following people around the office and kind of like understanding what they've been up to. So
This is a great example.
there's a team on it. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and add the file search tool, and I'll copy in my vector store ID. And here I can actually filter down the files in this vector store to just the ones that are relevant to the person that we want to style. So in this case, let's start with Ilan. We'll go ahead and filter down to his username. Yeah. And we'll come back here and we'll refresh. And we'll say, can you briefly summarize what Ilan likes to wear?
I mean, this is just a wrapper on a tool. Like, you could already do this.
Yeah, but it never knows, and now it can actually tell you what Ilan likes.
I mean, it's a little simpler, but 90% of people have already solved this.
Distinct inconsistent style characterized by a Miami chic. That's really awesome. So the file search tool is a great way to bring information about your users into your application. But in order to be able to create a really good application for this personal stylist, we want to be able to bring in fresh data from around the web so that we have both the newest information and also stuff that's really relevant to your users. So in order to demonstrate that, I'll add the web search tool. Cool. The web search tool is really great because you can also add data
This is
about
useful.
where your user is. So let's try with somebody else. Kevin,
Because web search, you usually have to pull in another API. It's usually not free.
Let's say Tokyo.
okay.
So this is a lot better. The web search is a good
So I'll
one.
put in Tokyo here.
Making it more accessible, yeah.
And Kevin.
That's true, I guess.
And the responses API is really cool because it can do multiple things at once. It can call a file search tool, it can call the web search tool, and it can give you a final answer just in one API response. So in order to tell it exactly what we want, let's give it some instructions.
I wonder what they're using underneath the web search.
And it'd be good if I knew how to code well. Great.
You say you're an engineer here.
Yeah, well, I'm in training.
Yikes.
So what we want the model to do is when it's asked to recommend products, we want it to use the file search tool to understand what Kevin likes, and then use the web search tool to find a store near him where he can buy something that he might be interested in. So let's go back and say, find me a jacket that I would like nearby. And what the model will do is it will issue a file search tool call to understand what kinds of things Kevin likes.
Can I zoom this in?
And then it will issue a web search tool call to then go and find stuff that Kevin would like based on where he is. So the model was able to, just in the scope of one API call, find a bunch of Patagonia stores.
Yeah, that's useful. This is actually super useful. I've built a couple things doing web search,
To Kevin's preferences. He's been wearing a lot of Patagonia.
and it's always been like a pain. So this is super useful.
No personal stylist assistant would be complete unless it could actually go and make purchases on your behalf. So in order to do that, let's demonstrate the computer use tool.
Ooh, I'm excited for this one.
So we'll go ahead and add this. We're using the computer use preview model and the computer use preview tool. And we will ask, help me find my friend Kevin a new Patagonia jacket. What's your favorite color, Kevin?
Let's go with black.
In black. You can't have too many black Patagonia jackets. And what the model will do is it will ask us for a screenshot. And we have a Docker container running locally on this computer. And we will go ahead and send that screenshot to the model. It will look at the state of the computer and issue another action. Click, drag, move, type. And then we will execute that action, take another screenshot, send it back to the model. And then it will continue in this fashion until it feels that it's completed the task, and then return a final answer. So while this is kind of going and doing its thing, we'll hand it back to Nikunj.
Yeah, awesome. So these are some really cool tools.
A little underwhelming.
Flexible API for you to build agents, and you have amazing building blocks to do that now. But for those of you who have built more complex applications, like say you're building a customer support agent, it's not always about just having one agent that's sort of the personal stylist. You also have some agentic application that's doing your refunds. You have another thing that's answering customer support FAQ queries. You have something else that's dealing with orders and billing, etc. And to make these applications easy to build, we released an SDK last year called Swarm, and Swarm made it easy to do agent orchestration. This was supposed to be an experimental and educational thing, but so many of you took it to production anyway. So
Classic.
Forcing our hand over here.
Classic.
So we've decided to take Swarm.
Unlike 4.5,
production-ready,
which never goes to production.
A bunch of new features, and we're going to be rebranding it to be called the Agents SDK. Ilan built Swarm and helped build it, so I'm going to hand it over to him to tell you more about how it works.
Yeah, thanks, Nikunj. Yeah,
All right, this could be cool.
In my time at OpenAI, I've spent a lot of time working with enterprises and builders to help them build out agentic experiences. And I've seen firsthand how pretty simple ideas can actually grow in complexity, like when you actually go to implement them. And so the idea with the Agents SDK is to keep simple ideas simple to implement while allowing you to build more complex and robust ideas still in a pretty straightforward and simple way. So let's take a look at what Steve had before in the demo, but implemented using the Agents SDK. It's going to look very similar at first. We have our agent defined here. We have some instructions. And we also have both of the tools, file search tool, web search tool, that we had before.
Is this using responses under the hood?
Yeah, so by default, this is using the responses API, but we actually support multiple vendors.
Oh man, a whole new API to support.
Shape can work with the Agents SDK.
Nice.
So during the practice runs, we actually accidentally ordered many Patagonias. So I'm sorry, we're gonna have to.
Understand. What's the problem?
We're helping you here. We want to return some of them. And so to do that, I could usually just add in a returns tool and add more to this prompt and get it to work. But the problem with that is you start to mix all of this business logic, which makes your agents a little bit harder to test. And so this is the power of multiple agents, is you can actually separate your concerns and develop and test them separately. So to do so, let's actually introduce an agent specifically to deal with this sorts of returns. So I'm gonna load my.
This is actually super similar to the AI agents package I built for Laravel,
But you can see there's also this new agent, the customer support agent.
which is cool.
And I've defined a couple tools for it to use: the get past orders, and then submit refund request. And you might notice these are just regular Python functions, as this is actually a feature that people really loved in Swarm that we brought over to the Agents SDK, which is we'll take your Python functions.
This is literally
type inference or
no way, dude.
And then automatically generate the JSON schema.
This is exactly what I built, but in PHP.
Calls. And then once they do, we actually run the code and then return the results. So you can just define the functions,
What the heck?
as they are.
I did this a year ago.
Now we have our two agents, right? We have the stylist agent and we have the customer support refunds agent. So how do we interact with both of them as a user? This is where the notion of handoffs come in. And a handoff is actually a pretty simple idea that's pretty powerful. And it's when you have one conversation where one agent is handling it, and then it hands it off to another, where you keep the entire conversation the same, but behind the scenes, you just swap out the instructions and the tools. And this gives you a way to triage conversations and load in the correct context for each part of the conversation. So what we've done here is created this triage agent that can hand off to the stylist agent or the customer support agent. So
That's cool. I like that.
let's actually
I like that paradigm.
So I'm going to save.
Like building the connections like that. It's pretty cool.
I think we may have ordered one too many.
I should add this in my Laravel package.
Can
The
you help
handoffs.
me return
I don't understand.
I know, I'm so sorry. And I can get you one later. So what just happened here is it started off by transferring, remember we're starting with the triage agent, to the customer support agent. And this is just a function call that I'll show you in a second. And then the customer support agent proactively called the get past orders function, where we can see all of Kevin's Patagonias. I think you'll be okay. Cool. So to actually see what happened behind the scenes, usually you might need to add some debugging statements by hand. But one of the things that the Agents SDK brings right out of the box is monitoring and tracing. So I'm going to go over to the tracing UI that we have on our platform to actually take a look what just happened.
We might have to rebuild my package for PHP. It's exactly like this.
And this last one, you can actually see exactly what happened. We started with a triage agent, which
Oh, that's cool.
We sent a request to, made a handoff, and then switched over to the customer support agent, which called the function. Now,
I like that.
we can see what the original input was. And handoffs are first-class objects in this dashboard. So you can see not only which agent we actually handed it off to, but any that it had as options that it did not, which is actually a really useful feature for debugging. Afterward, once we're in the customer support agent, you can see the get past orders function call with any input params. Here there were none. And then the output is just all of Kevin's very monotonous history. And then finally, we can get to the end where you get a response. And so these are some of the features that you get right out of the box with the Agents SDK. There's a few more. We also have built-in guardrails that you can enable. We have lifecycle events. And importantly, this is an open source.
Mine does too.
So we're going to keep building it out, and you can install it very soon or right now. So you can just do pip install OpenAI -agents, and we'll have one for the JavaScript coming soon. But to close this off,
I bet my package is gonna get blown up now.
Let's
from this.
actually perform the refund. So, you know what? I'm sorry, Kevin. Get rid of all of them.
Oh. What am I going to wear?
Kevin's going to be cold.
Yeah, let's see. It's a lot of them. There we go.
It takes a while to return so many Patagonias.
Yeah.
And so what happens under the hood? How do you debug this? How do you understand more about what's going on?
Yeah, so that we can all do back in the tracing UI. So this is a pretty nice, straightforward way to build out these experiences. Yeah, Nikunj, I'll
awesome.
Pass it
all
back
right.
to you.
Well, I'm so excited for all of you to have access to all of these tools. And before we wrap up, I wanted to make 2 additional points. First, we've introduced the Responses API, but the Chat Completions API is not going away. We're going to continue supporting it with new models and capabilities. There'll be certain capabilities that require built-in tool use, and there'll be certain models and agentic products that we release in the future that will require them, and those will be available in Responses API only. Responses API features are a superset of what chat completion support. So whenever you decide to migrate over, it should be a pretty straightforward migration.
That's good.
And we
Nice.
hope you love the developer experience of Responses because we put a lot of thought into that. The second point I wanted to make was around the Assistance API. We built the Assistance API based on all the great feedback that we got from all of our beta users, and we wouldn't be here without all the learnings that we had during the Assistance API phase. We are going to be adding more features to the Responses API so that it can support everything that the Assistance API can do. And once that happens, we'll be sharing a migration guide that makes it really easy for all of you to migrate your applications from Assistance to Responses without any loss of functionality or data.
Nice.
We'll give you ample time to move things over, and once we're done with that,
Everybody's got to move though.
we plan to sunset the Assistance API sometime
Dang.
in 2026.
That's huge.
We'll be sharing a lot more details about this.
And there's so many
But yeah, that's it for me. I'll hand it over to Kevin to wrap us up.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited to announce the Responses API and the idea that we can take a single powerful.
So one interesting thing is, even though they're going to keep it around and sunset it, there's so many other APIs that are built around that OpenAI original API.
Computer use APIs.
It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that, because everybody's going to have to adapt probably.
Building powerful new models and bring more intelligence to bring more powerful tools to help you build better agents. 2025 is going to be the year of the agent. It's the year that ChatGPT and our developer tools go from just answering questions to actually doing things for you out in the real world. We're super excited about that. We're just getting started. We know you are too, and we can't wait to see what you build.
All right. You think they'd keep the lives so many rappers? Yeah, I know. That'll be interesting to see. I think everybody will have to just shift their APIs to be like the Responses APIs. But check this out. Look at my Laravel AI. It's literally called Laravel AI Agents or whatever. This is literally exactly what they just announced, but it's in PHP. Like, it's literally the same thing. Like, here's how you define a function. A description, the parameters, and then you just like, look, the prompt and an agent, and then you pull in the tools you want. It's like works the exact same way. There's just no handoff. It's pretty interesting. I bet this thing's gonna get blown up from people looking for AI agents now. I need to release a new version for the new Responses API. Because this is it. When did I release this originally? I don't know. It was like a long time ago. '23. Dang, I was super early. July of 23. I was 2 years ahead of the curve, apparently. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of keeping pace. I think the computer use is cool, but don't have a lot of confidence since they showed like the simplest example and it was slow in their demo. I think if it was really good, they would have like stuck around that a little bit more. Yeah. The file search is okay. You still got to do their vector database stuff, which has a bunch of other limitations with like file size, which is one of the reasons why I haven't used it in the past. It's pretty limited. Maybe there's not a file limit now in their vector store, but I doubt it. Before there was like a pretty heavy limit on how much data you could put in there though. What else? Web search will be useful. I think people will get in trouble with that, like including it when they don't need to. And the AI doing something dumb. I'm glad they're doing the agentic AI, like SDK or whatever. That is good. It's interesting that they didn't bring up the model context protocol stuff at all, since it's like such a hot topic right now. They just did the tools right in place. I guess maybe they're just not supporting it because of Anthropic. Have they even mentioned it at all? OpenAI model context protocol. Or is that just purely Anthropic? No, yeah, they haven't like adopted that, I guess. Computer use as a core pattern won't gain popularity until a model can do it locally. Also, web use will be interesting from LLM attack vectors. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good point. Exposing that to the web, even if it's just doing reads. Yeah, I guess like computer use, that is an interesting point. Like, what's the point of computer use if it's got to be done from the cloud? You might as well just do the rest in the cloud. I haven't looked to see how much stuff is actually supported, like some of the local models, how they do. But that's a good point. Also, I think I wonder if their pricing is changing at all because it wasn't the Swarm. I think like the Swarm AI stuff was like a different price before. Like agents have a different pricing structure than like responses or messages API does. So yeah, be interesting to see. It does make me want to make a new version of this package though. I could probably start from scratch. Just keep the wrappers for the APIs and like start it, build the actual context again. I got like a test agent here. Yeah. I mean, I've got like the lifecycle events and everything in here. Successful function call hooks and everything. Interesting. I do think this is like a much better way to work with AI, to be honest. So glad to see it. Glad to see it. All right. Well, yeah, it's still better than 4.5, I think. That stream was. I think 4.5 was way more. At least this is like net new stuff that they're doing. Like that response API is definitely net new. So I like that. I'll figure out my audio too for next time. I don't know why it didn't play. See what's up with that. The response API is vendor lock-in? Probably not, because I mean the whole thing is like everybody just adopts OpenAI's API spec. They should have rolled this into the 4.5 announcement. Yeah, I think this with 4.5 would have been a much stronger showing. You know, one thing that is actually very interesting though, actually, with the vendor lock-in is tool use is like the antithesis of the MCP stuff going on, the model context protocol. I'm gonna do a short on this maybe today and release it tonight, explaining what they are. But model context protocol is basically saying like don't write tools, or like sort of write tools, but actually make them like standalone pieces of functionality that you can host and the AIs can reach out to, rather than like feeding it like just pure function calls. So one thing that is interesting is thinking about it in the context of like pushing harder on tool use like that, or like that agentic SDK and like defining functions, and like that is like not how MCP is supposed to work. I mean, you could, I guess, but like the whole idea is you don't do that basically. So I guess they're going to war on that. Maybe that's why they released this actually. Maybe it's because the model context stuff is so hot right now. Maybe this is them literally trying to take the air out of it and saying like, oh, look how easy it is to create AI with tools. You don't need that. That could make sense. I'll be honest, I don't think the model context protocol stuff has legs. So I actually prefer OpenAI's approach on this one. I'm probably going to release something short talking about it. Not my opinion, but just objectively explaining the differences. Also, their responses rolls a few steps into one response. Reduces the transactional nature. Yeah, it's true. I wonder they have do they have, is it in here? Probably. Building agents. Oh, they have WebRTC support? That's cool. Didn't know that. Huh. Wait, what? That's funny. Did they rename it? It's Swarm, right? That's what that was before it was called. Oh, wait. There it is. So this is the new one. This is the old one. This probably says deprecated now or something. Yeah. I love the agent's tagline though. My repo is gonna get destroyed. It's gonna like get so much traffic. It's like so similarly named. Yeah, look at this. This is exactly what I was thinking of when I made mine before. This is such a better way to work with AI, I think. Because you can write, right? You can write code like you're used to writing and then just feed it back into the AI and say, hey, here's some code you can run. I think that's just such a more like natural way to do things. Like this code looks so clean. That's what it should look like. So I like this a lot more. The runner run is cool too. I like that. I added something like this in mine as well. Or you can put in, there's a function call required agent type or something, and it makes it loop until it gives you an answer. All these concepts are the same. That's so cool. Mine needs to be cleaned up though. It's been hacked and hacked for 2 years. It'd probably be worth doing like a big rewrite. Very cool. I like this a lot. This is so much cleaner than model context, I think. So I think it's a lot better. And the tracing is also very cool. That's really cool. Like this UI looks sweet. I love this. Like debugging, this is amazing. And the handoffs. Oh man. I just want to work on my agents framework now, like so bad. This is so cool. It's very cool. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess going back to like the impact of this, I think this is cool. I do think this is a good announcement. I think this is positive. Nobody else is doing this yet. Claude is or Anthropic's just I don't even know. Anthropic's just they have really good models and then they just like can't put the rest together. Kinda. This is definitely a pro for OpenAI. I don't know anybody else really doing it like this. Huh. I bet this is gonna be so expensive though. What's the pricing on like what models did they say were supported again? Hold on. Pricing. So they said, I think they said O3 Mini. I need to try O3 Mini out. I think I did when it first came out, but I haven't since then. Heard a lot of, oh, 4.5 supports it too. If you have $1 million, there you go. Anthropic did computer use 6 months ago. Yeah, they did, but what I'm talking about is like the agentic approach specifically. And also, Anthropic's like computer use thing was like, I feel like I don't think I ever even set it up. It's like it's not intuitive to get it going. But Anthropic hasn't done like the agentic stuff like this though. That's what I was talking about. I feel like Anthropic's done a good job of building like really good models, but like everything else that they kind of do around the model, some of it's good ideas, but it just feels like it doesn't go anywhere. Or like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like for example, like Claude Code. Like I love the idea of Claude Code. I think it's cool. But I don't actually know anybody that's really using it. Like it's not actually better or like useful yet. Does that make sense? There's like something that they missed the mark on those releases. I'm not sure what. I still think that Gemini demo we did with Gemini's AI using the computer. We should compare all the computer use from like Anthropic, the Gemini one we did, and OpenAI and see which one's the best. I bet Gemini's still on top. Just guessing. It was just so fast with real-time voice. I don't think these others probably match it, even today. But we should try it sometime. I mean, you saw they explained the life cycle, right? Like in the demo. Gemini cursor was great. Yeah, I know, right? It was so good. And you could even see in the demo that they had, it just like, it works the same way the Gemini cursor did. It just was taking a picture saying, where do you want to go? And then like executing commands. So it's exactly the same. But Gemini's so fast. I can't imagine that the OpenAI experience is better. But maybe. I feel like Google's got to release something soon, right? Where are they at? Or do they just like not care? They just like they feel like so disconnected. It's like Anthropic and OpenAI, maybe DeepSeek. Somebody said DeepSeek R2 is coming out, right? Did I see that? March 17th is the rumor apparently. So 6 days. Oh yeah, I wanted to look. So O3 Mini, what's the pricing on O3 Mini? O3 Mini. Oh, it's right here. $1 for a million. I don't even know what the in context if that's cheap or not. If you could bake that Gemini cursor to give people a tutorial on how to use software, that'd be a winner. I mean, I don't see how we couldn't, honestly. It seems like you'd be able to like enable tutorials and then take a picture of the screen of like the HTML and feed that to Gemini and then like emulate a second cursor. That seems so doable, right? That could like easily be a plugin for the TMS too. Like Gemini cursor, real-time voice, it just adds a little like talk button and then emulates a cursor. I don't see why you couldn't make that a plugin for the TMS. That'd be sweet. Gemini is free technically, but I think, right? Do they have pricing actually attached anywhere, or is it just like free? Paid tier. I mean, look at the pricing. This is crazy. It's 10 cents per million. So it's an 11th of the price of O3 Mini. Instructions are basically just what you need, not a full tutorial on the app. How do I build a load? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that'd be sweet. I think that'd be sweet. I still can't get over the pricing for 4, 5. That's crazy. Actually crazy. Did they do, I guess just for thinking, you just pay for the thought, like the cycles, I guess. I'm assuming you do the same though. 200,000 context. What's the context on Gemini? What they're gonna do, dude, they're gonna do caching starting March 31st for Gemini, and it's gonna be 2 cents per million. That's crazy. Grounding with Google search. Oh, that's like if you turn on with search. Did they say? It's got 1,000,000 tokens context window. So Gemini also has 5 times the context. Dude, Google cooked with this model. I know I'm a fanboy, but I'm just saying, that's crazy. Like actually that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Friday we can mess with it. See how it goes. See if we can get computer use going. Or I want to redo my framework now. For sure. It's very, very tempting. Clean it up a little bit to use this new API and everything. See what's good in here that I don't have. Pull it in. Probably change prompt to instruction and stuff like that. Add the handoffs. That's cool. That's cool. I like it. I think it's good. No new models, though. We're still waiting for that, huh? I need to try O3 Mini. All right. Well, I'm gonna hop off here. Short stream. Just wanted to go live for the live stream again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. We're gonna mess around with this some more soon. Maybe Friday. It is cool. So anyway, have a good rest of your Tuesday, and I'll be back live again tomorrow. So see y'all then.